On the 13th of June 2009, the national bursary organization, the StudyTrust, celebrated its 35th birthday. I joined the organization in 2008 as the new national director in the place of my uncle, one of the founding members of the trust, the Rev Jan Hofmeyr. To understand the idea behind the StudyTrust, one must go back to Meadowlands, Soweto, where Jan Hofmeyr, having just returned from Britain as an A.B. Bailey scholar, was ordained as a pastor in the Dutch Reformed Church in Africa, Congregation Meadowlands.
Om hier te staan vat mense gedagtes nou baie ver terug. In 1960 is ek in Julie maand van 1960 in hierdie kerk bevestig as leraar van hierdie kerk. Ek het hier gewerk vir 7 jaar tot in 1967 en toe het die kerk my beroep as jeugleraar in synodale diens vir die NG Kerk in Afrika vir die hele Suid-Transvaal. Dit was net so 'n ongelooflike leerskool vir my. Wat 'n voorreg vir my as 'n jong wit ouetjie van destyds om my werk hier te kon begin. En by hierdie wyse en wonderlike mense van Meadowlands my leerskool te kon deurmaak. Ek het soveel geleer. My crash was destyds van die grootste belang, seker vandag nog met omtrent al die ouers wat ergens werk en die kleintjies wat dan nou bedags sonder sorg hier gelaat word, soms opgesluit word vir die hele dag. En daarom was dit 'n roepende nood geweest en was my voorreg om betrokke te kon wees by die oprigting van 6 sulke crèches hierso in Meadowlands alleen. Ja, hierdie is nou deel van die kerksentrum wat met die naam Sefikeng en wat ons in 1966 opgerig het. Die gedagte met die kerksentrum, en dit was nou iets anders, waar 'n mens ruimte maak en voorsiening maak vir verskillende sake, wat als saamloop met 'n breër siening van jou bediening. So, hierdie was 'n plek waar die jong mense en die gemeente kon verkeer en saam eet en alles. Daar is die kerksaal, aan daardie kant waar die dienste gehou word. Aan hierdie kant het ons 'n kombuis en ons het 'n boekwinkeltjie en ons het kamers waar katedrese jeugbyeenkomste kan plaasvind. My kantoor is aan daardie kant en aan daardie kant het ons 'n muur waarteen ons kon films wys in die aande. En dan kon die jong mense kom, daar was daardie tyd baie min vir jong mense om saans te doen. Die kerkkoor was amper die enigste aktiwiteit waarna ons kon deelneem. Daarom het ons ook baie aandag aan die koor gegee. En Zef Molloy, ons koorleier, was een van die beste koorleiers in die kerk destyds. En sy koor het hier elke Saterdag geoefen. En wat 'n vreugde, het was iets wonderliks geweest. Renale God, so efetan kutoyo, opatsena sofe, di pizzo la creste. Amen.
It was 1976 at Teflo, and when the marriage began.
Ja, ik ken het.
And 1977, then we started in the youth ministry with Rev Jan Hofmeyr, and for donkey years we've been together. And you know what? It's a man who doesn't want somebody to talk much about him. But I would say, if you look in the NG Kerk in Africa, he has been a man who was a backbone of the modern man. The legacy which Reverend Hofmeyr has left in this church, it's that people should work hard for the kingdom of God. He's a hard worker. I try to compete with him.
Yeah, if I think back of my years of service in the church, the one thing that I was very much involved in and had a special interest in was young people and youth work. And from the beginning it was quite clear that there were great needs amongst the youth, especially on the level of education, where in those days the facilities were scarce, and just the possibility for young people to progress from primary school to secondary school were very, very small. I think back of 1974, when we started with StudyTrust, the bursary organization, and in 1974, only 6% of the total number of black students in school, learners, pupils, only 6% found themselves in secondary school. And in matric, only 0.19%. I became very much aware of the need of young people who attended primary schools on farms and in small towns, and then it was the ceiling. They just couldn't go any further because of lack of facilities, lack of finance. But I was made aware of another group of ministers of the time, of different churches who were also interested in this same thing. I joined with them, and that led to the establishment of StudyTrust on the 13th of June 1974.
StudyTrust, to me, is a sort of an umbrella for the youth of South Africa, or a shade for the youth of South Africa. Because all those who are not able to get help of furthering their studies, they run to the shade, and this shade will cover them.
You know, I grew up in a dusty rural village of Hapal, born of a domestic worker, matriculated, and had no idea as to where I was going to go beyond after matric. Applied for bursaries, bursary after bursary after bursary after bursary, until one day arrived, I still have this vivid memory of it, arrived a brown envelope from StudyTrust, which said, "We have the pleasure of affording you a bursary," which enabled me to go and study at the University of Cape Town.
Finding StudyTrust was like finding a bridge that would take me from one level to another, finding that which has become an elevator in my life. After I've written my exams, there came the brown envelope. What was contained inside, coming from StudyTrust, made me realize how not only fortunate I was, but how valued I was as a young member of the citizen of this country.
It's an amazing experience. It has empowered me, it has made me and contributed to who I am today.
no matter how poor you were, as long as you knew and you believed in yourself that you can do it academically, StudyTrust became the source of inspiration to me.
I went through to do my my postgrad, which I did through a Fulbright scholarship. And then on my return from that, I always had it at the back of my mind that StudyTrust was the organization that launched me into the academic field and basically my professional life that followed thereafter. So I think 2 to 3 years after starting work, I wrote to StudyTrust, and guess who responded? It was Jan again. He was still there. I was amazed.
Jan, as a director of StudyTrust at the time, used to come and visit us on campus. And I remember every 15, 20 minutes that he spent was so profound. It was always encouraging. You must remember, many of us have come from families where no one had gone to varsity. And for me, even more in that, coming from as far afield as Rapahla in Limpopo to go to and study in Rondebosch at UCT was quite a change. And often you felt lost and you felt under pressure and you felt nobody actually understood what you were going through, given what our backgrounds are like. And Jan was always there to encourage, motivate, and support us. And he kind of was the one that was providing light at the end of the tunnel. One thing that we lacked most at the time was hope. And Jan resembles and represents that hope. And every time you saw him, you had a spark in your eye that kind of said, I was getting closer and closer to achieving my goal. But for me, Jan was more than just a visitor at university. Without him knowing, he was my mentor. And he still is my mentor. Even today when I make strategic decisions, he's one of the first that I pick up the phone to and say, Jan, I'm faced with this dilemma. And he is able to, in his own gentle way, really help me think through and objectively assess what is at play. And he's an amazing person in that way.
It's difficult for me to call him as Jan Hofmeyr. I'll always refer to him as the Reverend. Saying someone is revered, to me, it talks about someone you respect, someone you adore. His relationship with me has really become like that one of a father and a son. It's so fulfilling to describe his benevolence, his way in which he relates to young people. As a young man, it was for the first time to have a guy who took me so serious. He's a man of valor, he's a man of God. He is not a man who just speaks, he's a man of action. I believe that he's become the essence of StudyTrust. He has shaped the institution. He has shaped us by relating with us. One is serving back as a trustee now, suitably so because of Jan's influence and inspiration as a leader.
And he's a true leader. I honestly feel that I am where I am because of the role he has played and continues to play in my life. In fact, when I got married, over and above just visiting and being a mentor, I was really honored to have Jan conduct my marriage ceremony. It was quite a pleasure and something that I will treasure for life.
The soft side, the human side, the fatherly side of Jan Hofmeyr, and indeed his legacy will continue to grow. And I must say that he's influenced me personally to be a caring person, not only a caring father and a caring husband, but to be a caring leader and a caring community member that you can lead by coming from behind. And I think Reverend has become a steward of empowerment in South Africa. It's not hundreds, it's not just a few thousand, it's thousands of people that he has developed.
But those interactions as well, they have reinforced my self-confidence and my belief in my abilities and the fact that I can add value. So for that, thank you so much, Jan.
So Jan, for me, is a parent, is more than a parent, is a mentor, is a confidant, is a true leader.
My involvement with StudyTrust over the past 35 years meant so much to me personally. It's difficult to put it in words. It has been such a privilege for me to be involved in this initiative over all these years. I've been blessed and enriched by the contact that it afforded me with young people from all over our country and from all its various cultural communities. It was great to witness the enthusiasm, the determination, the commitment of these students in the face of the most negative personal, family, and even national circumstances. I have a practical inclination. I like the saying, put up or shut up. There has always been so much to do. In the process, the opportunity for words and for discussions does arise, but the focus is on action. That's what I like. In StudyTrust, in accordance also with my Christian conviction, I found ample opportunity to share in the task of carrying one another's burdens. And for this, I'm deeply grateful.